Scorpio.
Hello Scorpio, Happy New Year 2015. So here, as we embark on a new year, I'm sure all astrologers have their own way of doing their predictions. Personally, I like to follow the cycle of Mars because Mars is our onboard dynamic engine. It's our passion, it's our goals, it's our drive, it's our commitments. It's how we focus on achieving those goals that we set out to do. So this is where we're going to find our action and where it's going to lead us throughout 2015. Now, just a little background on Mars. Mars takes 2 years to complete a cycle around your chart. And so what it's going to do now, it's going to take a year of that and it's going to stretch it just a little bit more than 180 degrees halfway through your chart. Now, in 2014, it was working on this side of your chart. And so now you're starting to lift and rise, heading more so up towards the public side of your chart. Not quite yet though, it's starting just here inside of your 4th house, and then it's going to have the 5th, 6th house, but the rest of the year you're going to be very much so more out into the public space with your energy. So you might have been feeling that you've been holding your energy back, or you've been a little bit drained, tired, but also, no kidding, you've had that Saturn in that 1st house of personality, self, and the 1st house is Mars, it's ruled by Mars, so you might have felt there's been a restriction or a limitation on bringing that energy out. But this is now starting to shift because just here, very late December, actually Christmas Eve, Saturn turned and left Scorpio, your sign, and I think you can say hallelujah now as it's moving in to a different area. Now looking at your financials. But let's start here. From New Year's to that of January 13, I hope you have a notepad to take dates. I'm going to give you a lot of dates, and for those of you who don't, you can always come back and re-listen to this throughout the year because we forget. You know, it's like we hear it now and then it's lost, so do come back. But January 1st through that of January 13th, Mars is going to complete where it currently is, top of the year. That's within the home environment. So family, your foundation, where you live, how you live, all of that. So you're concluding it. So January 13th, straight through that of February 20th, it's going to meet a very fun cycle for you. The 5th house is all about creativity, self-expression. For those of you having personal creative projects, well, Mars is going to fine-tune you, activate you, kick you into action, and bring manifestation of this energy into your focus so that you can really start up something. And you know, once we have a transit of Mars in a specific area, normally just for 6 weeks or so, we don't get another chance of that for another 2 years. All right, it takes those 2 years to go around. So here is the opportunity for you to really do something that you love to do. It's what you do in your leisure time. But the 5th house is also children. So you might come to see that your children might be needing a little bit more focus from you, or that you're just interacting with them a little bit more as well. For those of you who are single Scorpios, this could be a very nice time for you to meet somebody new. It's also the area of love and romance. And in that case, well, we got fire. Think about Mars as fiery, right? And if you're already in a relationship, well, then that will just create a little bit more sparks between you and your other. So February 20th, though, then we're shifting again for another 6-week or so period. Mars here will allow you to focus more on details, your day-to-day schedule, setting it up, weeding it out. There might be a few things where you've been wasting either a lot of time, or where you've felt that certain areas have been like draining upon your energy. Mars is going to help you now get all your little ducks in a row so that you can become more efficient for this long-term cycle until Mars comes back around in this area. Um, I also see that you could initiate anything having to do with diets. The sixth house, it's a Virgo house, it's about health, how we feel about ourselves physically. So diets starting now could actually linger and last with you for a long time to come if you set it up right. And for others, it might just be getting yourself on a workout regime. But it's nutrients. It's what you feed your body now that could really bring a good dimensional focus on how you're going to feel in months to come, right? So we want to check that out. Then relationships is going to take over here from April 1st. And April 1st throughout the next 6 weeks to that of May 13th, Mars is now going to focus that much more on your significant other. So we might see that sparks are going to fly here. You might also feel that you're getting more attention than probably what you have for a long time, as Mars being the other here, which the seventh house reflects. Well, you're going to be that centrum, that center of attention. Now, it's also partners, whoever you work with closely, whether it's associates or brokers or any of that. You might just see now that you're going to be more, should I say, initiating anything that can behoove your goals, your future goals. So busy time here in this area. Now, Mars will be passing through the sign of Taurus, and Taurus ruled by Venus is love, and seventh house is love. So for you single, well, just like I said about the fifth house, this also could be a great time for you single Scorpions to meet somebody new that you can actually click with. So, but we also will be experiencing integrating Mars into that Taurian energy. Taurus is all about security, good, solid grounds, money too, anything about quality. And this is something that you really hold really high in your partner, is that he or she may stand tall with integrity of emotions and feelings. So a great time for you also to rise to that level and give exactly that. Now come here May 13th, and for the next period, Mars moving into Gemini. Well, Gemini is communicative. And it shares, it relates, but it's also the 8th house, which is ruled by your sign, Scorpio. So we're going to see a whole lot more communication and focus on what we call shared resources. You know, how much are both of you giving in so to each other so the scales balance. What is too much, too little? You might also be focusing a little bit more here on how to expand, initiate maybe investments so it can give you a payoff over time. The 8th house is different from the 2nd house, which is your monthly income security. This is more like, okay, do I invest here, or there, so that you can build this area. Now, June 25th is a fun area as well. It has to do with long distance travel. Maybe some of you will take off vacation time right now and do that planned trip that you've been dreaming about. But it's also an area of where we study and educate ourselves, do research. So some of you might now feel the need to initiate maybe a new class. For others of you, you might initiate taking on groups and teaching. And in that case, you will be exceptional. Mars is behind you, very supportive. Your drive and desire right now, your ambition, is to actually reach for those new heights. And we call it heights because it's the house of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius has always the big view, not the small view. You know, it likes to have one's philosophies of life in growth. So spiritually, you might just come to see how important it is that spirit is yearning, reaching for these higher dimensions. So a great time. This will linger all the way until that of August 9th. So if we're looking at research, preparing oneself, preparing for what, right? what would be the next chapter where Mars goes into your career house? So if you're thinking of changing career, the previous period would be good to find out everything you can about it. Prepare yourself. Because as Mars goes through your area here, you will be expanding, initiating. You might also have new prospects coming in, new projects too. And I feel it's going to be a great period for your career. The best of the year, in fact. And this will run straight through that of August 9th to September 26th. And it's also because Mars will be joining up with Jupiter. Jupiter is the blessed, abundant supporter that we have. It expands things. So straight through the entire year, you'll be feeling how Jupiter is going to be working for you in this respect. But when Mars comes in touch with it, and anytime we have a conjunction, the fusing of two planets closely by, we have the initiation of, and this is what's going to expand and take off a new leap of not just faith, but in very concrete ways will you see how Jupiter now is going to be able to give you that. Jupiter is in the sign here for your chart until that of August 12th, so you want to make sure that you really are on par with it here so that you can get the best benefit of it. Jupiter will be moving into Virgo August 12th and remain there for a full year, and which now it's going to be expanding for you more on social networks, how you reach out and affiliate with groups and organizations, or also meet people now on higher upper levels that can come in and be quite supportive and a blessing to you. So new people here in the coming 12 months there from August 12th. But back to Mars. When Mars has done what it needed to do, and some of you might find that you will be finding perhaps a new journey here. You might have a promotion. You might find the guts to ask for a raise if they haven't already offered it to you. And it is because the sense of self is really strong when Mars cruises through Leo. Leo's a sister fire sign here to Mars, and Leo's all about pride. You know your worth, the quality of the work that you give. So if they haven't offered it to you, this would be the time for you to do so, and that would, once again, to give you the dates, would be between August 9th and September 26th. So September 26th, November 13th, it is going to go into that 11th house. You will also come still to be journeying a little bit there with Jupiter, which has now opened the doors to these new groups that you will be either signing up with or getting together with one way or another. I always like to say the 11th house has to do a lot with the internet just because it's ruled by Aquarius. So Mars is absorbing this Aquarian energy, which again is ruled by Uranus. So we have the way of reaching out in our new ways through technology. While this could really come to become very important for you and expand your field of growth and dynamic vision. All right, and it's ending up end of the year here between November 13th throughout that the rest of the year in the 12th house. And I think for you Scorpios, you're going to love that phase. Why? It looks like it could be an extended time now where you're just going to pull back and now review. All right, for 2 years it's been running around the chart, expending all this energy, having all the tackling challenges that you've had, especially with that Saturn in your sign, which is now gone. So the 12th house is about listening to inner self, so pull back, put your feet up, meditate, do yoga, spa yourself. The review, I feel, is going to give you an outlook on the mission that you're on and what has been completed and what you no longer want. We need to weed out every once in a while so we don't congest and become all cluttered because we get so stuffed. Mars is wanting to refill its batteries because once it gets into that first house, well, then you're starting a new 2-year cycle from the first house, the ascendants there, and a new journey around the block, so to speak. So it's a good time for you to do as little as possible. It's okay to do that every once in a while. Rest up, right? But listen, the good news about Mars, we have no retrogrades of Mars in 2015. That means that your goals, drive, passion, ambition, desire is going to be full force forward. All right? Now here in 2014, it was retrograde like 7 months, 8 months nearly. So we didn't really get ahead the way we wanted. There was always roadblocks. But you will see 2015 putting you not just right back on track, but also full speed forward to obtain those goals that you have. And we have the retrograde of Jupiter, though, which started off there December 9th, 2014. We'll follow through to that of April 9th. But Jupiter does bring back situations that we didn't act upon in the past. Okay, so we get like a second chance, and Jupiter is therefore not a bad thing to have retrograde. It's still doing us all good. For the long-term transits, we will mention them a little bit here. They haven't and they won't be changing neither signs or houses for you. They're kind of working in the background, okay, in our subconsciousness. It's all about the evolution of spirit and how spirit grows and transforms us as we go along. And so having Neptune in your 5th house, it's children, okay? For those of you who have children, they're changing. You're growing with them as they are growing, adapting here with you. But it's also your creativity, Scorpio. The universe is asking you, where lays the realm of your self-expression, of creativity? I feel many of you have so much of it. Maybe you haven't had time to because life has been busy, especially with that Saturn. But here this year, it's wanting to come out. Why? Because it's when we create and bring forth that we have brought into manifestation some of our inner visions, and it empowers us. It's like a renewal of battery when we are co-creators with the universe. Uranus still in your 6th house. 6th house, Uranus here is all about your routines, your daily life. It's hard to predict because you can't really predict with Uranus. Uranus can be really, really good, moving forward, giving all these genius ideas, total downloads of insights, and then suddenly it'll take a 90-degree, throw you right back off, and then you're going to have to flex. So Uranus is teaching you, and it might be a hard lesson for Scorpio because Scorpio loves to have control. You know, you're ruled by Pluto. Pluto likes to be in control. And it's really hard for you to adapt. But this is what Uranus is trying to teach you, is how to adapt with the constant changes of your day-to-day life, whether this is at home or if it's at work, because it will do so to help you find more flexibility, to let go, let God. Just tell yourself, oh, well, you know, and then just shift. And the less resistance you have, the easier it will be to listen to Uranus and do the dance, because it's not going to stop for another, you got probably another 5-6 years of this. So you can't control it because it's outer circumstances. So find that flow and you will find that you can open up your inner creativity and express that of Neptune as well. Pluto still in your 3rd house for self-expression, how you communicate. It's what you communicate. Do you come across with this beautiful gift of profound transformation to those who are listening to you? Pluto will do that. Or do you come across with a lower aspect of Pluto, which can be crass, abrupt, with no filter, with a stinger? And we know that, yes, that stinger of Scorpion can hurt. Even maybe it's not even intended. But pay attention to it. Monitor yourself, because Pluto is one of the greatest planets as a magician to actually create deep, profound changes and shifts in those who listen to you, for better or worse. And you want it to be on the better end, right? So anything written, you have the power and control here. That's keywords of Pluto. You could give incredible speeches. You can move mountains. You can get and create and attract a lot of attention if this is all used correctly. Now, the long transit here, nearly up to 13, 15 years in a house, well, it takes that long to integrate that shift on a soul level, because there is no time, for soul. And these things can't be incorporated just overnight, because it's the whole matrix of who we are spiritually. So you have that. Now listen, this is the major changes for 2015 Scorpio. Come back and listen to it again throughout the year. And listen like we do on a monthly basis to your moon and rising sign, because these predictions for the full year will also pertain to them. And your partner's charts too. You want to listen to that, see what's going on with him or her too. And I will see you soon.